så kan jeg sige med næsten 100% sikkerhed, at det her, det er ikke noget, der er foregået i jordskorpen. Det må næsten være noget, der er foregået i...
Hey, what's up, guys? Tyler here with Secure Team. So, I gather that most of you, unless you speak Danish, you probably don't understand what this man is talking about. However, I assure you, what he's discussing here is something that is and continues to be echoed by residents all over this small Danish island, situated off the coast of Sweden in the Baltic Sea, where something strange is going on. And it all connects to these mysterious booms and underground rumblings that we've been talking about on the channel for months now. And if you're new, just head back and start watching, any video I've posted in the past couple of months. The ground is shaking, whether it be in the United States, Mexico, Hawaii, or even small little Danish islands like this one, which is called Bornholm. And this gentleman who you heard speaking earlier is a geologist by the name of Jørgen Butzbach. And what he has indicated is that over the past week, this island has literally been shaking. And I'll go into this article here. There's a couple articles about it. It's been shaking and, quote, bulging, as he says. But here's the kicker. This anomalous activity, in his opinion, and some have said that, well, something's being hidden here. They're not telling the truth. Well, in his words, it can't be earthquakes because seismographs on the island have not picked anything up, which obviously is totally contradictory to some of the things from the residents that you're about to hear in some of these reports. So here's the original article, which translated, and again, this may sound a little strange because these translations never translate perfectly, but the title was Mystery on Danish Sunshine Island. Shaking cannot be explained. Residents on the Bornholm East Coast have recently reported astonishing shakes from the island's interior. What is going on? The case is still unexplained. It goes on to say that beginning this past Wednesday came the very first rumblings, where several residents around the village of Arsdale on the east coast of Bornholm noticed how the rocky ground beneath them began to move and expel a deep rumble. Suddenly, I just heard such a bullet-like sound, and I sensed that it was from underground, said Louise Rilsager while speaking with TV2 Bornholm News the following day. And as the days went on, other residents began to tell about this shaking that was, quote, frightening and that caused windows of the houses to cling and farm animals to behave strangely in this small town on the East Coast. And the mystery is spreading, with some of the people who experienced this peculiar phenomenon guessing that maybe it was a minor earthquake. Perhaps it could have been a plane, a sonic boom from something moving very fast, but many of the residents indicated that they felt it, it was underground. But just to cover all bases, they thought maybe it could be a flight exercise. However, the problem was that the Navy and the Defense Command's flight crew denied that they have had any ships or planes near this island. And now we have scientists and geologists like this man claiming that it can under no circumstances be an earthquake, and that a seismographer has been set up on the island, and that they've examined the equipment and there were no results on the seismograph, something that is extremely sensitive and would have caught even the slightest amount of shaking. Which is why the man you're seeing here said, with, quote, 99.999% certainty, I can determine that it was not an earthquake. And so what does this geologist think that it could be? Well, he surprisingly came up with a few theories of his own, stating, quote, there must be something that has been happening in the atmosphere. Maybe a plane broke through the sound wall, and so the shakes could be felt all the way up and down Bornholm's coast. He then went on to talk about how he himself, a resident of Bornholm, had experienced a much more powerful earthquake on the island some 19 years before that woke up he and his wife in the middle of the night, the bed was shaking, and that it was extremely frightening. First, let me take a few steps back here. This is kind of strange because this guy, this geologist, has just kind of popped up out of nowhere and is really driving it home to people that this was not an earthquake. There's no way it was an earthquake. Nothing's been picked up. And then he suddenly has this theory, again, ramming home this theory that, well, it had to be something up above. It had to be something in the atmosphere. Maybe a plane breaking through the sound barrier. It just seems kind of strange coming from a geologist. To be just putting forth a theory like that, it almost feels like to some people that he's trying to take attention away from whatever is happening underground. Because again, when you read these reports from the resident, according to them, it felt like the whole island shook. Their windows were clanging, farm animals going crazy from whatever the shaking was. It was obviously coming from underground. And so a lot of people aren't buying into what this geologist is saying here, and are suspect of some of these things he's talking about. Furthermore, if he said that this was not an earthquake, why does he then, in the article, go on to describe an earthquake that he and his wife had experienced years before? It just doesn't make sense. And this wasn't just some single sonic boom from a plane. This has been happening for days and days and days on end. Whatever's happening, it's coming from underground, and, it ties into everything we've been speaking about recently. Rumblings all over the world, as well as these massive cracks opening up everywhere. And we've been tossing around theories. Could there be some sort of construction happening underground, a massive tunneling system or underground railway? We spoke a little bit about this in our last video. And I've also been getting a lot of emails from people in Hawaii and surrounding Hawaii asking, could this volcanic eruption in Hawaii have been a result of this massive underground movement that kind of, woke it up from its slumber? And speaking of, these massive cracks, we're now getting videos like this out of Hawaii, where not only do we have this volcano erupting, lava completely swallowing up entire neighborhoods, sending thousands fleeing, but now we have these massive cracks swallowing homes on the Big Island, where the ground is just opening up, swallowing cars, houses. The footage you're seeing here is just one of those of the, the former resident of the home going around showing you the ground and what's happening. This was captured by a resident by the name of Tam Hunt of it's actually his neighbor's home, as it began to fall through the cracks in the earth caused by fissures opening up due to these volcanic eruptions. And, these massive cracks are very similar to the cracks we've been seeing all around the world. And, it's been a question I've been receiving is, well, these massive underground rumblings have been happening long before this volcano erupted, sort of spreading out throughout the world. And could this underground activity be behind the eruption of this volcano to begin with? So it truly is fascinating, and this story on this island located in the Baltic Sea. Another fun little note here, do you guys remember a couple of years back, we did a lot of videos, and it was in the mainstream news where everyone was talking about something called the Baltic Sea Anomaly. And if you don't remember what that was, well, basically a team of divers discovered, after scanning the bottom of the Baltic Sea, this strange object that took on the shape of almost a perfect disc, circular object, sitting on the ocean floor, totally out of place. And you're seeing images of that here. And it's fascinated me since its discovery in June of 2011. And the object is some 70 meters long, found around 300 feet beneath the waves. If you look at it, it has what look like compartments, artificial-looking surface structures, what appear to be stairs, compartments going inside the object, and they have no idea what this thing is, how it got there. Some people say it looks like the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars. Some say it's a crashed spacecraft, but it sure does look out of place. And, recently there was an article put out saying, well, has the mystery finally been solved? Where some scientists basically tried to put forth the theory that it was just a natural land mass. It was created from glaciers moving around, carving out the ocean bottom thousands of years before. But to anyone looking at this object, it looks like a crashed object. It even has this trail left behind it, like it skidded to a stop on the ocean bottom. Yeah, it's just a total mystery. Some have even said there were these strange magnetic oscillations coming from the object. The Ocean X team who discovered it maintain that it is not a natural structure, with multiple members of the team saying that their electrical equipment would stop working when they would dive and or get within 100 feet of the anomaly. Electronics completely malfunction or shut off. And even stated that their satellite phones even as well stopped working when they were above the object. And they tested this going back and forth, and every time they got close to it, everything would shut off. As soon as they get, further away, everything would turn back on. So, I'm just throwing this out there, but, this island is in the Baltic Sea. Could this anomalous structure have something to do with what's happening? I don't know, but it truly is a fascinating topic, the Baltic Sea anomaly. And certainly whatever is happening on the island of Bornholm, nobody can seem to figure it out. And these so-called scientists and geologists don't seem to be giving very straight answers. So we will continue to follow it. Let me know what you guys think down below. Subscribe, follow me on social media so you can have updates as to when new videos are coming. And I will see you guys all back in just a bit.